So today we have what I consider to be not an unusual situation, but something that occurs less frequently than a typical landscaping or excavating project or technician may face. And that is an erosion issue which has led to about a 6-foot washout in a gully that is jeopardizing the structure of the house that's in the background behind me. So what we have here is we have a pasture that has a driveway going down alongside of it, and what you can see from the driveway is that it basically is acting as a funnel and taking all the rain and storm water down to one point where it then washes down the hillside, which you can't see at this moment, which we will go and take a look at. And it's created, like I said, about a 6-foot funnel. So the first part of this is the grading of the upper structure, and then the second part that we have to do before we get involved too deeply in this project is to correct what's already occurred. So to grade the upper structure, to fix what's happening and to eliminate the problem from happening again in the future, we're going to grade the entire pasture so that all the water that comes off from the driveway, instead of cascading down in one point, will disperse evenly over the entire pasture, which allows it to soak into the ground before it goes over the edge. So let's go down and see what's happened in the past, and let's look at what we're going to fix in the lower area to fix the existing washout. Just a different angle of the same problem. With this angle, you can see that the water's concentrated into one path and flowing down, creating the washout area that's giving my customer the issues that is jeopardizing the structure behind me. We're going to use the dozer in the background to grade the upper pasture. We're going to use the excavator to clear the brush, create a road, and a safe work environment to fix the gully that already exists. So let's go take a look at what's happened over the years, and let's talk about how we're going to fix the next phase of this project. Just to give you an idea of how severe this gully has, how many years it's taken to do it, I'm going to jump down into the hole to give you a perspective to show you what they've done. Over the years, they've piled brush up into the hole as a temporary fix. Now this has to be removed. So let's show you how deep this gully is. We're talking about at least 6 feet deep. This hole has been washed out over the years. That's what we're going to fix. This is phase 2 to fix the washout. This is where we're going to clear all the brush out of here so we gain access to the hole, and then we're going to pack this with soil. We're going to regrade it, and we're going to put erosion control measures over the top of it to keep this from happening. But we're also going to regrade that upper pasture so we stop the concentration of water from coming down into one area. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed as we go. We'll take one shot from the bottom to give you another perspective. Now we're at the bottom of the hill. We're looking up the slope. This is where we're going to start our work to fix the gully, the washout. And the reason we're going to start at the bottom is basically for safety. We're able to create a flat working environment, a flat platform, where as we remove the brush, we can keep filling in the trench behind us so that we have a nice, safe zone to work. To get down to the bottom, we're going to create a road through the woods, removing any trees, branches, overgrown brush and shrubs so that we can get down to the bottom, so that we can start to work our way back up to the top of the hill, fixing the gully and washout, compacting and placing soil as we go. Okay, so the last time we were here, what we had was an ungraded pasture. Since that time, we've started grading and mining soil for the pasture, from the pasture for the spot that we have the erosion problem. But what we have found is that the existing soils on site have a high silt content. And if we're going to try to fill it in a spot that has a lot of erosion and problems, what will happen is if we use this silty soils, is the next time it rains, if any water does get concentrated in that area for any reason, it's going to draw or wick the silt right out of the soil and wash it down. What will eventually happen is we're going to have an erosion problem, just like we tried to fix. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in clay. So we found some black organic clay which will allow some vegetation to grow and reestablish, but it's also very cohesive. So when I grab a handful of it, I can squish it and form a ball. And what we really want to do is we want to take that hole that's in the ground over there, we want to pack it in there. We want to get this clay good and tight in there. We want it to get into all the cracks and crevices and spread, and we're going to make sure that we terraform it into place. and that's going to hold that soil together and stop any further erosion from occurring. So let's go look at what we've done with the hole so that you can see how we've prepped and gotten that ready. And then we're going to be taking this clay that we're going to be bringing in and placing it into the hole. So let's go check out what we've done. Okay, so we're back at the problem area. What we seen last time we was here was about 20 years worth of timber and debris placed in this hole as an attempt to fix the problem. What we've done, what you'll find is we've cleaned this place out and gotten it ready so that we can really get some soil in here. So let's take a look. So right down here is where this debris had covered the entire area. When we cleaned it up, we made sure that we got everything out, even underneath in places like this. We want to pull the timbers out that were resting in here. And the reason we want to do that is because if we leave those behind, soil will not go in there. It will not compact. Water will eventually find its way back into that crevice and then start eroding and undermining this bank from the bottom up. So we made sure that we got everything possible out of here. So when we go to place that clay soil, it's going to pack tight into every nook and cranny, creating a long-lasting solution for the homeowner. Okay, so we're about the halfway point through this project. So far we've imported between 450 to 500 tons of clay-based soil. What we're going to be using this soil for is to grade this pasture flat so that we get an even sheen and can direct the water instead of sourcing it, funneling it into the spot where we have the issue, evenly across the whole site. We've already filled the hole in on the bottom side. We're going to go down below. We're going to take a couple shots up. We're going to show you what we've done to correct the existing problem. And now we're going to use the rest of the soils that we've imported in to keep anything from happening down the line. So the idea is to grade this out and stop this problem from happening 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road. So you can see that we've filled the hole in, we've packed the soil tight, and then we've taken the excavator after the fact and we've loosened up the surface soil. We don't want to keep the soil packed tight at the very top layer because we need vegetation to reestablish. Once the vegetation reestablishes, any of the small surface issues that could occur will be stopped. So the soil has been restored, the slope has been restored back to its natural state, and now we're going to be leaving this area and allowing the vegetation to reestablish. So I'm standing in the exact spot as a reference point where before I was crawling underneath this tree and showing you just how deep of a gully we had. It's all been filled, it's all been fixed, and now it's ready to turn back over to the customer to reestablish the vegetation. The problem has been solved. Okay, so if you look at the pasture and the ground below me, you can see that we have everything graded to a nice smooth transition. We have taken the water, which was concentrated in one focal point over there, and we've distributed it evenly across the slope. That way we're not going to have erosion recreating the issue that was there before. So now the next step for this customer is to reestablish vegetation. Once the vegetation is reestablished, this job is complete.